that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you? That I don't think that he's good. That I
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I am glad to see everyone that is able to join me during the live. Thank you so much for joining me at Sandra P's Gen Extra for the live review of these ladies. These are, of course, the Rhode Island ladies. And I have all of them behind me. Y'all, this was a good one. These ladies are something else. One thing they know how to do is keep something going. So we're going to start out with these ladies. Welcome in, Miss Jackson. Welcome, Miss Jackson. Ooh, you are for real. Thank you so much for joining me. Dropping down in the chat to say good morning. Happy Monday to you all. Same to you. Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Also, I see Dear Yvette. Dear Yvette, thank you so much. Hello, Sandra. Ophelia Burkhalter, thank you for coming into the live. Thank everyone that can join me this morning for this live. This is the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. This is their first season. We are in episode 8. And let's see, it's called Splitting Hairs. It's a recap. It's a lot of opinion. And just my views on these new ladies. I love what they're giving us during their first season. They even have an after show, which most of us have noticed. Atlanta does not have it yet. They have one for season, they have theirs for season 16, but they don't have the one for this year. So Atlanta, are you going to film an after show or not? I agree that I am for real. Yes, Miss Jackson, you are. Thank you so much for coming in. I agree with Miss Jackson. This show is amazing. It's fun. The ladies really know each other. They have real beef. They're not playing with us like the ladies over on Atlanta trying to manufacture something. And let's see, we are 8 episodes in. So we do know them pretty well. I was going to try to pull up some pictures of them. That's them behind me. And then we'll just look at them so you can kind of see who everyone is. And everyone's speaking to each other, saying good morning to Miss Jackson, to Dear Yvette, to Ophelia Burkhalter, all of you. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. So we have, who is on this screen? We have Dolores Quintana. Dolores and Liz are friends. They're old friends. They're both in the cannabis business. We get a tour of Liz's and Jerry's gorgeous facility. They're working on something that I'm interested in. Liz, I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I hope you have these ready to roll. A menopause gummy, everybody, is supposed to treat the symptoms, as Liz says. She said, I went crazy, but I love this scene, and I hope she has them out. I'm going to go look for them. In addition to Liz and Dolores, we have Rula Official. We have Alicia Carmoody. Alicia of the 9-year engagement to Pizza Billy. There is Joellen, and Joellen is long-term friends with everybody. She and Alicia had a really touching scene last week at the house in Newport, the Newport mansion. We're going to follow up on that again. And then let me switch this one more time to try to show the other ladies. If you are in the bushes or if you're listening on your way to work or you're working out or something like that, thank you for joining me. Team Replay, thank you for joining me. I'm showing all of the ladies. There's a backdrop that I found on either Reddit or OFMG Reality, one of those places. But just showing everybody who's who and helping us get to know each other. Next, that was Alicia, we just said. Joellen. In the middle, we have Kelsey, the Rosie Woods, and Ashley Iaconetti. Ashley Iaconetti, I was so glad to see Ashley this week because we left our sweet baby Ashley crying last week. Y'all remember she had to get off the Sunset Cruise because not Hayden, but Dawson had some type of asthma attack. And the father, who is a doctor, decided we're going to take him to the emergency room. So Ashley was really upset about that. So everyone's speaking to each other. And we'll just go ahead and get into the actual review. Thank all of you for joining me. I appreciate it again. And if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video. I would really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. So I'm going to start where we left off last week. This is the aftermath of this Newport trip to the mansion. So we start out with the little vignettes that we do with everybody. I love that. We get to see Joellen and Gary and the kids. They kind of have like a picnic lunch, but in the living room. And Joellen has a white carpet. So she's fussing at her 10-year-old about not spilling food on the floor. We see Liz and Gary. Liz wants to take the cat for a walk. Is that a thing? Gary's like, how long is this going to take? We get Alicia and Pizza Billy in the car. He says, you got to start driving this car. It's a year old and you got 2,000 miles on it. So Alicia, you've not been driving anywhere, but she's hit a lady, everybody. She needs therapy. She finds what she thinks is a 4-leaf clover. He thinks that it is probably poison ivy. Don't touch it. She's like, it's a 4-leaf clover. It's not a 4-leaf clover. They get in this beautiful car. It's an almost new SUV. Alicia, pass it on down if you're really not going to drive. So he wants her to start taking the daughter to and from her dance lesson. Alicia says she goes 5 days a week. And Billy's has the restaurants, and then he's doing all this too. So Selena needs a ride to and from dance. That is their 9-year-old daughter. And so they are driving. She's telling him about the trip. I don't know that Alicia should be doing all this talking in the car. This is kind of a lot. So Alicia's doing a lot of talking in the car and really not paying attention. I think she ran a stop sign. There's a bridge that she has to go over. She's really nervous about. Let me stop for one moment. I have to welcome another lover of this show. My friend AB, also known as American Born, has come in and said, good morning at Standard P's Gen Extra. She's speaking to Dear Yvette, speaking to Ophelia Burkhalter, Miss Jackson. Ooh. And she is saying, some people do walk their cats. I tried with a cat she wasn't having it. Yeah, I always hear they're lazy and they want to do their own thing. But if anybody could walk and do their business outside of the house, it would be a cat. So we did walk in on Liz trying to walk her cat. And Gary just puts up with her because Liz is a trip. And now we find out that menopause was driving her crazy. So she is kind of loopy and she has a lot going on. Because Liz, you were getting on my nerves and you started out as my favorite. Welcome in Kiwan JTV, one of my fellow content creators. I am glad to see you in the live. We just got started. We're going through the vignettes of the different ladies after their Newport mansion trip. And we're in the car driving with Alicia. She has me nervous and I'm not even in the car. So she got Pizza Billy over there looking like a driving instructor. And she has the nerve to be trying to recount all this stuff that happened during the Newport trip. So American Born, Ophelia, everybody's speaking to each other. Thank all of you for coming in. And then American Born says, I think Liz has one of those expensive Bengal cats. Bengali, yeah. I would think so. That suits her. Liz seems like she's kind of fabulous. So I could see her having a cat like that. And cats have to run in the house in most places. I'm not a cat person. I think I'll take a dog over a cat. And the bridge, again, they're in the car. She said she had to start with her crackers. So, of course, she started with that. She got rose water spray, peppermint oil for focus, gum, a playlist. Alicia is a lot. And we find out that the little girl be in the back going, you could do it, mommy, you could do it. And sometimes crying. Billy looked a little concerned when she said that. So he said, pay attention to the signs. She said, there's signs everywhere. Alicia's something else. I think she can do it. She just got to slow down. And Alicia, you can't do all this talking in the car. This is a distraction. So she's telling them everything that happened during the trip. That Liz has been attacking me like crazy, but I've known her so long. She's kind of on a pedestal, but I didn't like that part. And I do agree with Alicia. I noticed Liz was kind of tough on Alicia. I didn't love that. And we get Alicia in a confessional saying it had my blood rushing. It's uncalled for. And Billy saying, you have to let her know. It's tricky, but you have to let her know. And I have to agree with that. Liz, you don't get to talk crazy just because you are the HBIC. And then you don't want people to think you're mean, which I don't think she's mean. But Alicia has said she's been around and my older sister has been around since I was a kid and I can't do it. Billy finds out about Brian on this cheating video that Joellen brought. And that Joellen, even though she's the one who brought the video, now she kind of wants to be hands off. She feels like Alicia should be the one to tell Rula about it. Alicia's in a confessional saying, I would want a good friend to tell me if Pizza Billy did something like this, but I don't want to break her heart again. And Alicia is sincere in this. I feel like she should stay out of it. Alicia's good with everybody. I don't like what they're doing, Joellen. You are messy. You're trying to pull my girl in. I don't want her in this. And Billy's saying, you don't come with all the dramatics. So I agree with Pizza Billy on that. He just seems cool, like he's not into all that stuff. I like all of these husbands. The messiest husband is Gary with the sister-in-law Jen and all that. He's probably the messiest husband, but I do like all the husbands. Billy says, do what you feel is right. And I agree. Don't let the group push you into this. I have to agree 100%. I'm going to stop and read a few more comments, and then we will continue with the review. American Born says, yes, those cats are super expensive. This is Liz's cat we were talking about. We love Alicia. Yes, I like all the ladies, but my two favorites, I think Liz is my favorite just because. And then I will have to say our baby Alicia, and also our baby Ashley. I think Ashley's the cutest. We're going to see a lot of Ashley this week too, which I like. American Born says, I don't like finding out Pizza Billy is taking Alicia's money, shaking my head. Yeah, that is something else. I think he should have absolutely. She's working not only at home, but in the restaurants. She's done a lot of marketing for them. And then to feel like he doesn't have to put her name on the house or anything. He's one of those men like, I'll always take care of you. Yeah, you will always take care of me until you don't. And so Alicia has to really be mindful of that. And I think she is. She knows that's not right. CDW, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in during the line. This is Rhode Island, and we are talking about the aftermath of their Newport trip, and then a lot of new things going on with all of these ladies. One of the best franchises as far as real connections. And I'll show the backdrop again for those of you that just came in. Shows the different ladies. So I was able to put that in the backdrop. That came from Reddit. Everyone is speaking to CDW who just came in. So you see Kelsey in the middle, Ashley down at the bottom, Joellen. Who is this on this side? Let me see. Let me take down the comments. Sorry. And Rosie. And Alicia's up at the top. All right, let's get back to the review. All right, we'll do that. Excuse the different backdrops. I'm trying to find out which one works best. So Alicia doesn't want to tell the father of her kids that this is going on, and she knows that they're trying to probably embarrass Rula and force her to face this. We already know that Rula knows, and that's the real problem I have with Joellen. You're not revealing anything. This lady knows, so just this is enough. And Alicia being on this bridge kind of wrecked my nerves. She's over the yellow line. Billy says, you made it. You're doing the drop up and pick up. And Alicia said baby steps. So this is a cute scene. We see Rosie. Rosie is dressing up her dog. She and Rich are going to take a walk. They are the cutest couple. They were on Watch What Happens Live, and he was behind the bar last week. And I think they're really cute. They have a really nice home. We see the 2-car garage in front, a big construction zone. There's a hole in the ground. There is construction starting. They got the framing done. Foundation. Rosie says the fun part doesn't start until later. That is the decorating. And then she, of course, is still upset about Kelsey saying that it's not a real project and all this kind of stuff. Rich is like, oh, he's not. Get a shovel and help us with this backfill. That's right, Rich. I like people like Rich. He said they doing all this talking. Do some action, because Rosie is sick of it and her feelings are really getting hurt. The dog goes over there and makes a big number 2 right in the middle of the construction site. So Rosie's like, you got to do that in the princess dress. She puts her space shoes on and they start walking down their street. They live in a really nice neighborhood. All the neighborhoods we've seen from all the ladies' houses are really nice. So they are all walking down the neighborhood and she's bouncing around on those space shoes. And he's like, be still. Rich kind of wants to talk to her. And she was saying, oh, also when Rich was behind the bar last night, this lady had a question. I wanted to know if Rich had any brothers. Rich's father is married and his brother is 30 and still a playboy. So no, lady. Rich is cute, but he didn't have a brother for you. So I thought that was cute. They said, give him 4 or 5 years. The lady looked like she didn't have that kind of time. And then Shamia was on there too, y'all. Shamia was looking beautiful. So Rosie is saying the ladies is still doing all that stuff, mainly Kelsey. And then when they get together, they kind of want to gang up. And I like what Rich was telling. He said, try to make up with her. But if they don't want to do that, you let them run over you, they're going to keep doing it. He said, at some point, you got to push back. You got to speak your piece. And then they'll stop it. And so he's right. But we found out last week that Rosie has anxiety. She gets a little nervous. She really wants to fit in. And when she's doing her like her newscaster thing, that's when she can be Rosie, but that's not really her. She's quiet and she gets tongue-tied, and then it doesn't help with Kelsey kind of targeting her. I think Kelsey is a little bit jealous of her. They have a new after show. I didn't finish it, but Liz seems to think Kelsey's jealous of her. Kelsey seems to think like what she has done to Rosie is not a problem. I see she's picking on Rosie, and I really don't like it. I'll read a few comments, and we'll continue with Rich and Rosie walking down the street with the cute space shoes that Rosie has on. I love those. Dear Yvette says, Joellen has a lot of BS with her. She's not true with her mother after she was hot in the butt. I don't really care for her. Dear Yvette, I didn't care for Joellen. I do like all of the ladies, but after I saw that she's pushing this on Ruler, I started to not like Joellen, and then I started to feel compassion for her again, finding out during the Newport trip that the mother actually sent her away 3 times, one of the times to rehab, and that the kind of places she was going was so bad that they sent her back after a week because she didn't have problems like that. I feel like she needs deep therapy and stay out of Ruler's marriage and other people's business. She also is instigating a lot of this between Kelsey and Rosie. I think that if Liz were more of a neutral and objective figure, and also Joellen, who likes to keep stuff going, I don't think Kelsey and Rosie would have gone to this, where you calling people out of their name and physically pushing them out of the house. But we'll get to that. That's at the end. CDW, I'm starting to think she's jealous of Rosie also. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Rosie, but she's got the girls stirred up, and I don't know why. Rosie hasn't done anything. So I don't like the way that they're treating her. I think it could be jealousy. America Born says, I agree, CDW. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Honestly, the 2 ladies I was looking at from episode 1, I didn't really like, Rosie and Kelsey. And now those 2 are kind of going at it. And since Rosie's being ganged up on a little bit, even Rich sees it. I have more compassion for Rosie, and I like Rosie. But Joellen, if she keeps up her shenanigans, I get to a point where I don't like people that conduct themselves that way. Welcome in. The moderator, CC, came in, says good morning to myself and to the chat. Thank you for coming in during the live. We're doing the aftermath of the Newport mansion, and we are walking down the street right now with Rosie in her space shoes. Her dog is in a princess dress, and Rich is giving her some good advice on these women. He'll say, back them up off you, or they're going to keep on doing it. And I happen to agree with Rich. I love the way he's talking to his wife. I think they're the cutest couple. So Kelsey is still all into this 8,000 square feet, and she is going to continue talking about it. Rosie's telling Rich, well, I got the plans laid out. I've got the measuring thing. Rosie, you're doing a lot too. You don't have anything to prove to this lady who's being put out of a house. And now we get to see Kelsey moving in to this little apartment that, you know, she probably would have had in her 20s had she not been out here with a man in this polyamorous relationship. The sister comes in and says, it's nice. It's kind of the size of your closet from where you were. Now, sis, this is not helpful. The mom comes in. Now, we do find out that they didn't agree with the relationship between Kelsey and this old man who took up a lot of her youth, but they had to make peace with it because that's what she was going to do, and she did it. And now she's starting out again. And I think she is a little bit jealous of Rosie, who has done other things in her life. As far as now she's married, she's had her career, she's building onto her home, and Kelsey's just starting. So she is saying that Rosie's everywhere. I'm sorry, that was a part of my notes. Rosie's everywhere saying that Kelsey's doing a manufactured storyline. Also, when Rosie was on Watch What Happens Live last night, she said she's coming with the receipts. She is not going to spare Kelsey or anybody else, so they better buckle up. Rich was behind the bar, y'all, just shaking drinks. So he's with the shenanigans too. Y'all, I can't wait until the Rhode Island men come out. I think that's going to be pretty funny. Keywan says she may not like Rosie is young, married, and independent. That's exactly what I think it is, Keywan J. She has a life partner, which is rich, and she is independent. She could go back to that job or not, because people do know of Rosie in Rhode Island. And I do. I like Rosie. I like her personality. So Kelsey's telling us a confessional. I used to have somebody making the bed, doing the laundry. I had a pool boy. Girl, don't live in the past. You don't have any of that now. She is telling us correctly. It's a big adjustment. The sister wants to know how much the rent is. Sis, this sister's kind of a hater. And y'all, we're just going to call out what we see. The mother is very overweight. So I think maybe they're looking at Kelsey as, you were in this big old house and now look at you. That's the vibe I'm getting for them. She didn't tell the sister how much the rent was, but she says her ex is paying, and the mother's like, how are you going to be independent and he's paying? We find out he's also, she told us already, he's paying her health insurance, her car insurance, and the rent. And then we get her in a confessional, and she says, I was with him 10 years. I may not have been married. She puts the married in quote. You were not married. You came out with nothing. And she says, but she does deserve something. I agree with that. But I feel like she should have been put money aside all along, which she wasn't. So she's got them coming over to not just moral support. They're supposed to be assembling stuff. The mother said you should have paid a little extra and get it assembled. She said she wasn't going to do that. She has her friend coming over, which is Bill. Y'all, why did production, when they show Bill, they put Kelsey's only boyfriend? Production, you don't have to rub it in Kelsey's face. This is too much. And what I like, when Billy came over, he came over with his whole kit. So that's the way we like to see a man show up, okay? He came over with a toolkit. It's insane, American born. Yes, we are talking about the ladies, and the jealousy is just oozing off of Kelsey, and it's not good. It's not going to help her in her life. American born agrees. And AB says Kelsey's family was off. Maybe they were getting money from the ex. American born, something is going on there, because they seem a little bit disappointed. Like, oh, look at this little apartment. Like, you should be proud of her. It is a very nice apartment. It's Rhode Island. There's not going to be a rough neighborhood or anything like that. So I don't like the way they're not really supporting her enough. Production was ordered. They are so messy. They are, because Kelsey didn't waste any time when he was her boyfriend, this guy with this mansion. Now, I wonder if it's true that they have been broken up for some time, but he allowed her to shoot in the house just to kind of get her out of his face and financially independent. I kind of believe it. CDW says Kelsey and her sister don't look anything like their mother. They don't. And the mother, you heard that dig she got in when she said, oh, you should have paid somebody to assemble this. She said, usually I just use your father. I let my husband get that done. So she's rubbing that in Kelsey's face. Like, you may be pretty, honey, and I may be carrying a little bit of extra buns and rolls, but I got a man that can put together my stuff. Billy's coming over there to help her assemble it, Mom, so not so fast. She wants to know from Kelsey, are you anywhere closer to maybe a baby? Do you feel that for Billy? I don't see that. I don't think Billy has what Kelsey wants. What she's coming from and what she's moving into, she's going to have to work, and she's already told her she doesn't want to. AB says, I never saw a bad area when I was there. I believe it. It's the kind of state that I don't think they have too many bad areas. Linda, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in during the live, the moderator. Great to see you. Everybody's speaking to Linda Gamble, and she is speaking back. I've only been to Providence, Rhode Island, and it's nice. CDW, it has some of the most beautiful scenery I've seen on any of these shows. I love it. Billy doesn't have the money she wants. No, he seems like a nice guy. They have history together. They've known each other since well before high school. The mother used to pack lunches for her. So the families already know each other. Kelsey, what do you want? Come on, you in your early 30s. You want a baby? Billy seems like he loves her. So I don't know. I think she just wants this big time mansion experience, and that's over with. So the mom says it's a growth thing. And it just says as you get older, you change. You're not 20 years old versus 30. And we remember Kelsey was a very vulnerable 20 years old when this old man scooped her up among others and started to take advantage of their youth, in my opinion. So now that they've aged out, they're starting over. I heard the Miami lady too. So Kelsey doesn't know if she has a future with Billy, but here's Billy with the toolbox. He comes in, he said, I'm Bob the Builder. I thought that was really nice. They said, good, you can take over. He's like, I don't want to take over. Billy, yes, you do. Standing here with this toolbox. I thought that was cute. So we get a confessional from Kelsey, and she's saying, this was my mother's holy grail. She always wanted me to have a family and have a baby. She says she doesn't want to be like a tick and immediately get pregnant. So I don't know, Kelsey, you just, at least you have your hair and makeup certification. You can do that. So she says that her car is getting ready to go and she wants to replace it. This girl's talking about a Bentley or a Lambo. Girl, you better get something you can pay for, even though he's paying the insurance. If he stops, you need something you can pay for. So her problem is she feels entitled to luxury items, but she cannot pay for it herself. We see our little baby Ashley over here with a real friend. She's giving Dawson his breathing treatment. He has had a quick turnaround. She said he's feeling much better. He had an asthma-induced cold. So it was a good thing he was with her dad, who is a doctor, sent them to the emergency room because she left the Sunset Cruise crying. So we find out he's better. We got to see a picture of Ashley and Dawson in the hospital. No Hayden sighting. Where's Hayden at, Ashley? So her real friend, or one of her oldest friends is there. They're talking. Ashley's working on an ad. She's telling a friend that there was a big slide. The mansion was so nice. And the friend's laughing. Look at you with your adult group of friends. So they're eating popcorn. This is one of those friends Ashley could be comfortable with. She says she's feeling a little closer to the group. And friends saying, oh, you're so grown up. They're just laughing. I think this is really cute. The friend's going to help her shoot content. She has a house fragrance sponsorship. Wow, she's doing a lot. So with this house fragrance sponsorship, she is going through the house and telling us all the different scents that she has. And she's also saying that she wants Jared to get on his game. They're showing us this one little picture. Jared and his little bird chest with tatted, and my very attractive husband, he can get some sponsorships too. We find out she's making more money than he actually brings in from the coffee shop / restaurant or whatever it is. So he probably needs to get on that too. Or maybe, I think, my theory is I think Jared likes being away from home 80 hours a week, but he can actually shoot content in the coffee shop. I wonder why he doesn't do that. So she and the friend are talking a little bit. And let me see where I am in my notes. She and the friend are talking a little bit more about the content that she is shooting. And that was a cute scene with Ashley. I don't know where Hayden was. We didn't see Hayden. The mom was there. The mom's helping. So I thought that was really sweet. Next, we have Liz and Dolores. Liz and Dolores are at Liz's cannabis factory. And this cannabis factory, she puts together all these different kind of gummies that supposedly treat certain things. She said Rhode Island is the perfect place for this. I love this. And she has the chemist that's there. They have put together a menopause gummy. So I thought that was really creative. It was a great idea. Dolores has shown up. She called from the outside. She says, this place is like Fort Knox. I can barely get in. And Liz lets her know, I'm going to get you a key fob. So she comes in, they sit down, they're talking. This is going to be a really great product. It could be really, really lucrative. I know there's a market for it. I have to go and look and see about that. So she's talking about all the different symptoms. I could tell you that you might be up half the night. You might sleep and then wake up in the middle of the night. You might get your own personal summers where you're sweating at any time. Liz is in a confessional telling us that she went a little bit crazy. So, I mean, there's all kind of stuff that you get as a part of menopause. Or as Liz says, they didn't really tell us anything about it. It was called like going through the change. And that is true. So the factory, Dolores comes in and it's really nice. He's like, this is where the science happened. It looked really clean. It looked really interesting. I liked it. And she says that they are such great friends because Dolores is also in the cannabis business. I think she said that Dolores's boyfriend was going to he is helping with the marketing or something like that. I'm not sure about that, but that was a nice scene that Liz had. And let me see where I am with my notes. I did like seeing the gummy factory. It was the director of operations. Sean was showing them around. Y'all, I got Dolores and Liz mixed up and then realized the one I thought was Dolores was actually Liz. I can tell them apart now. Liz was wearing a big brown like hat, a lidded hat. And then Dolores was in like a flower dress. And of course, she was the one that drove up. Liz was already inside. But while she was talking, I thought that one was the other and the other one was her. So that was kind of crazy. They do favor. Next, we have Rula and Brian. Rula and Brian are getting their beautiful home ready. Rula and Brian are going to have Pizza Billy and Alicia come over. And the two of them are coming over they're supposed to be coming over for like a date night. But now we find out that the ladies, particularly Joellen, wants Alicia to talk to Rula about this video. Alicia, I'm with Billy. I don't think you should get into the middle of this. We know that she doesn't feel good about it. We know that she doesn't want to be a part of this. And I agree with her. I wouldn't go into these people's house and bring this up. And I'm sorry, let me just pick up the rest of my notes. I'm also gonna read some comments and then I'll get back into it. We'll see where I'm at now. All right, so Rula has one of the most beautiful homes. I love Rula's house. There's a lot of white, but her kids are bigger. The kids are bigger. We saw Joellen at the beginning trying to fuss at the little 10-year-old about putting like food on the floor. But if you have white carpets with a 10-year-old, I don't know. You're not going to be able to do that. No, Rula's kids are kind of small too. We saw the little 5-year-old and then the other one, Luca. So her kids are small too. Everyone, welcome in. If you've come in during the live, thank you so much. I'm going to read a few comments and then I will go back and start going through the review again. Let's see. Linda, I'm glad to see you. I'm sorry I've been not modding most of the night due to Clarissa and Papoose mess. Oh, Linda Gamble, I'm behind on like up-to-date news because I had to watch these 2 episodes. This, and then also everyone will get Atlanta sometime today. American Born is looking at, I'm looking to American Born, and I'm behind on one of my shows that I love to watch this for my own gratification. Call the Midwife. It used to be on PBS. I can't remember where. I think I was watching it on PBS because it's the latest season. Y'all, it's the most wholesome, beautiful show. And I think BBC might have it too. It takes place in, of course, the United Kingdom. And this is when the National Health Program was just started. But that is an aside, has nothing to do with this. But I'm glad to see you in here, Linda. I know you are very busy. And y'all, if you don't know Linda Gamble, you will get to know her because you'll see her in these YouTube streets, and she is on amazing platforms. I was in the YouTube streets yesterday with one of my favorite creators over there with Queen Sheba. That's with an I. And Linda mods over there. American Born says, I agree. Jared uses it as an excuse to not help with the kids. Yeah, this man knows how you going to have an 80-hour week with 2 toddlers. This is crazy. Kiwan J TV says, Kelsey has never worked a hard day in her life. Kiwan J, she better get used to it. And she's really, the position she is in is amazing. She has this man that's already finished with her paying car insurance, health insurance, and rent for however long. And she has a job on a national show, a popular show where the check's pretty good. It's well over 6 figures. So I don't want to hear her complaining just because she's not in a mansion with 79 TVs. She better go sit down. American Born says, exactly. Keywan says, y'all know I'm side-eyeing Jared. I am too. 80 hours a week for a new husband, new father. I'm not with it at all. American Born says, that's what my granny and mom called it, the change. Yeah, they were so secretive about it, American Born, and it's a part of aging. It's a part of life. She also said in Rhode Island, that is a protected class. So y'all, if you're up all night sweating or you can't sleep or you're aching is one of my things. Being thirsty is another one. You are protected class in Rhode Island. So you can't get in trouble at your job. And now I have to look for Liz's gummies. because they said they tasted amazing. They had like a blueberry taste, and Dolores said, I wouldn't change anything about the taste. What are your Jared thoughts? Kiwan J is laughing. Kiwan J, we have inside information. Everything is alleged. It's in our own opinion, but American born. Let me run a banner. Her sister used to live there, and she has spent time there. And Rhode Island's very small. Cranston small. Providence is small. Allegedly, most, or if not all, of the husbands may be cheating. Most, if not all. Brian's just the most obvious and the dumbest, and he thinks he's in love with his old side dish, and she's partially crazy. She's a little crazy, so that is what's going on. So Jared might have a little something on the side. And Ashley's walking around telling him how fine he is. Ashley, stop pumping that man's head up. He's already doing too much. Everyone is saying good morning to Linda Gamble again. AB says he's not a good person. And after the clips I saw of Bachelor, he treated her terribly. I know. Those of you who didn't know, I found out when I started reviewing, Ashley was on The Bachelor. They said she cried a lot over there too. P1J says, oh my. Yeah. Thank you so much, Linda Gamble, for the update. 8 likes and 11 in the chat. 3 of you drop down, like the video, and then you can go back into the bushes. I would appreciate it. You too, American born. Oh my OMG. I love Call the Midwife. It is so touching. I love it. I love it. Wholesome. Everybody speaking to each other. BBC. Yes, on BBC. And if you have PBS in your area, they show it as well. Call the Midwife. So if you get tired of a lot of the stuff, ratchet stuff that's on now, that is a good, wholesome, interesting show. Each episode is a new one, but you get to know the nurses and also the midwives who are nuns or nuns in training. Linda says, Jared is out here creeping with the side chicks. Linda Gamble, it is already so, I mean, any man that works in a restaurant, I used to serve all through college. There's some dogs up in there, 2-legged dogs, starting from the owners to the managers to everybody. It's like one big party. Not me. I try to make my money, and I already had a boyfriend. But they really get down in the restaurants. And if you haven't worked in one, you'd be surprised. If you have worked in one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody agrees about Jared. Poor Ashley. It's going to be crying time when she finds out. Key1 JTV says, wait, Linda Gamble, are you doing reviews? No, modding. She is a moderator for a lot of popular sites. Brian is weird, CDW. He was so awkward at the house. I feel like this is the first time he's had women that are really interested in him. BritBox. Yes, dear Yvette. You can see it on BritBox as well. American Born says, the nuns take me back to school. I didn't go to Catholic school, but my friends that did, they'll wrap your knuckles. Those ladies don't play. All right, so let's go back. One more comment. He was a mess during that dinner. Yeah, he is. Let me see where I'm at now, and then we'll get to that scene. Very awkward. And Rula was a little bit embarrassed by him. She really was. Thank you, CC. 7 likes, 10 in the chat. Please like the live. Yes, everyone, please come out of the bushes if you are, like the live, and then you can drop back. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. I was talking about the menopause gummy. Let's see where I'm at now. And I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to get to a point where I catch up with my notes. So we already talked about the factory. Oh, the other thing Liz was telling us is that it impacted her crazy. She was like mental and just frantic and went down to 105 pounds. Now, Liz, with me, it's the constant snacking. So you'll find yourself gaining certain ones. You will gain. And then in other places, it's not in the cute places anymore. You might get a gut. So, yeah, it's a trip. And then she also said her feet swell. Y'all, why did Liz say her feet look like a bag of icks and put them up in the camera? Y'all, them big swollen feet on little Liz, that cracked me up. Liz, you're crazy. These ladies do not know like the things that you do or don't do. And I think that's why we're having such fun watching them in their first season, where they're not so self-conscious, where they're looking at the camera and literally trying to plan a scene and tell us that this is going on when we know That's actually going on. So that's really funny. We're at Ruler's, her beautiful home. They are having some type of pasta, filet mignon. Ruler tells us again how sick she was. Production shows that one picture with her in the bed with the towel over her head. And then Ruler says, do you think I'd want to be trapped for a couple of days with those ladies in the castle, or would I rather be in my own castle? Ruler, I defended you. Keywan J said that you were faking. And now, Ruler, you making a fool out of me. I'm tired of these women I try to protect. They make a fool out of me. Ruler, you lied. So she basically is confirming that she wasn't really sick. She just didn't want to deal with Joellen in all these videos. Alicia and Pizza Billy have pulled up. Alicia's a little anxious. She said, I feel like I'm wearing a sign. I know what you did last week. Alicia, listen to Pizza Billy. Don't make this your problem. I would not be telling this lady anything. Ruler already knows. So they're going to have a double date at the house. Alicia's in the confessional, all nervous. I don't like what Liz and Joellen have done, trying to set her up to tell it. So Alicia is uneasy. And she said, I just wanted to enjoy Brian and Ruler. I know they want to work on their marriage, and I feel guilty. And I think she does feel guilty about the other ladies talking about them behind her back, even though, in fairness to Alicia, she does always try to throw in something positive or show that I don't feel like we should be doing this and Ruler's not here. But Ruler, if you're not going to be there to defend yourself, you can't put that on Alicia. So they're at the table. The lady is taking their orders. I like this. I don't know if this is a house manager or not, but she's getting their orders. Everybody's doing medium well. I like medium. Brian is telling us that the filet mignons look kind of like a Achilles heel, and the blood reminds him of the blood. And Billy's just laughing, and Alicia's like, ugh. And Ruler is looking embarrassed at him. He's like, and the pasta sauce, I know that it's not out of a can because I can get home at midnight and I don't even get heartburn. Pizza Billy is looking at him and laughing. And Alicia's like in the confessional looking at like midnight. And I'm like, midnight? Podiatrists do not work at midnight. I can't get an appointment to get my feet looked at midnight. What are you out doing in the streets? Now, I can see a restaurant owner like Billy. Y'all, Brian is crazy. And he was awkward, as we have already agreed. And he was embarrassing Ruler. I'll read a few more comments. They did many times. With them big old feet, that was a mess. I wouldn't want him as my podiatrist. I wouldn't trust him, CDW. He might be one of those freaks that, not a freak, but a person that gets off on feet. Who knows? There's something wrong with him. He's very weird. American Born says, me neither. Yeah, Brian, that could hurt your business. American Born is laughing. Bloop, call Ruler out. Yeah, Ruler is a trip. You know I defended her. I said, Ruler probably is sick with the stress. Look at her. She's so little. Look at her. Ruler's looking kind of pale. And now Ruler's sitting up here laughing. Yeah, I'm not going to be stuck in a mansion with them. I'm going to my own castle. So Ruler, now got my good eye on you. You are a trip. Brian's sitting up here bragging about he get home at midnight. He can eat and not get heartburn. We find out that he's able to take microdoses of Ozempic. Everything Brian is saying that he can do, Alicia's like, oh, I'm so jealous. I could do that. And I love Pizza Billy because he's like, you don't need that. He said, I can Brian. Now, Brian, have you been going to the gym? Because Joellen says you don't look like it. Now we find out he microdoses Ozempic. Alicia does not need that. Alicia's body is amazing. And Pizza Billy, even though he runs a restaurant, he's in great shape too. So I like that everything Alicia's saying is like, oh, you get your own Botox. He's like, you don't need that. He's telling her she doesn't need it, which I loved. So Brian is a little vain, y'all. He's a trip. She said Ruler wasn't sick at all. Keywan JTV, you called it. I thought she was because stress can make you ill, but now she basically confirmed. Linda Gamble said, no, ma'am. Linda, you didn't believe her either. American Born didn't believe her. Most people thought that Ruler was faking. I didn't think she was faking, y'all. She did look a little sick. She looks a little stressed when she gets around these ladies. Brian is getting high on his own supply. American Born, he's doing a little bit of everything up in there. I knew it. Yeah, she lied. She lied. Ruler, now we're not going to believe you if you come up in here telling these lies. So Brian is now basically telling all his business, talking about the food. This is too much. So Alicia works out. Alicia, you don't need to get any Ozempic. Don't let Brian talk you into that. And then Ruler should be like, why are you trying to be so fine anyway? Because we know Ruler doesn't think he's tall, dark, or handsome. So Alicia keeps saying she's jealous. Billy said, you don't need it. And they are serving dinner. And next we have Brian is talking about how long they dated. He's saying when he met her, because Alicia wanted to know, like, how'd you guys meet? How long you been dating? Oh, this is a funny story. I met her at Jackie's. I guess that's a local restaurant. I had a drink. She was going to order a drink. And I told the bartender, now, what year did he say this was? 2013? Brian, this wasn't even right then. This is a little creepy. And this is where the social awkwardness comes in. I said, for every single that I'm drinking, give her a double. This is why you don't let men pay for your drinks or even have an open drink around them. This was kind of disgusting. And you could see it worked out. He's saying like he caught her. So this was a trip. Ruler's sitting there laughing. She's embarrassing. That was a weird story, Brian. It sounds kind of predatory, in my opinion. So that was a trip. And y'all had some more information. American Born was sharing information about the side dish. The lady is a little crazy, but she's hearing from Brian. Joellen did one of her media rounds with, I think it was Gossip Girls. She's telling him that Brian's telling this lady he's in love with her. He wants to marry her, even though he's already married. So he's been in this like 2 years, Joellen is saying. But thankfully, Joellen is telling us that she's out of it. I don't believe you, Joellen. I have to see it to believe it, but we'll see. Oh, yeah, y'all. This is it. Thank you so much. That's because Rula needs to eat a burger or something. Yeah, I think she does. Or start with a little bit of pasta, a little bit of filet mignon. And she might be one of those people when she's stressing, she doesn't eat. Because the food looked amazing. Don't forget the tech. Yes, they are talking. He's telling one of these awkward stories about basically getting his wife drunk so he could even date her and talk to her. Oh, I got a work call. No, he had to go to the bathroom. Then he claimed it was a work call. Alicia and Pizza Billy are looking at her, and Alicia's in the confessional like, I'm giving this guy too much credit. She said, now he has a work call. So he comes back in looking at the phone. He's laughing. Y'all, I think the side dish texted him. This lady is desperate. She's crazy. And we already know she's been at Rula's house before. I don't like this lady. But Brian's the type of dog, even if Rula does get rid of him, when him having 2 years with this lady, he'll probably be moved on. And I won't care. American Born says, yes, good points about the double drinks. Yeah, I found that so awkward when he was saying that. And he was saying it like it was something cute. And the bartender was doing it. What kind of bartender is that? So as Brian's making all these awkward jokes, Rula is saying they're never going to come over again. So next we see the preview for what we all want to see. We see Kelsey. Kelsey is driving over to Rosie's house. She said she's going to go cut Rosie's hair. And Rosie, I hope you let her take a picture of it this time. I was thinking that when she drove up, but we'll see what happens. So Kelsey's saying she doesn't hold grudges. She loves to glam herself. So she likes to do glam for people. Kelsey does a confessional. She's really pretty in the confessional. And she is talking about her hopes for moving on with Rosie. Now, we know this is a premonition because the way it ends, it's a little sad. These two young ladies don't have to go here, but they did. And we see her on the phone with Billy on the way over. She's saying, yeah, I got a joke about the square footage. We could joke now because we're past it. And I was saying, Kelsey, stop mentioning the square footage. So this girl pulls up in her car, and it sounds like a real siren. She pulls up, and Rosie hears her from inside the house. Now, remember, Rosie has laid out her own version of a joke, which is, it's not really a joke. The plans to the house, the big yellow measuring thing that realtors carry and use, and she's going to try to make her prove the square footage. So both of them have jokes that are not really going to land with either. They're both too sensitive for this. It really is. Brian is a creep. Yeah, American Born. We're starting to see more of that. Brian is a creep. I don't think he deserves Ruler, but Ruler, I can't keep defending you. Now I find out you'll lie when pressed. And that also you don't seem to be wanting to go anywhere. And this man wants you gone. American Born says, I would be so mad if she did that to me. Yeah, and then she pulled up with this, and the siren was loud, y'all. I don't know where she got it from. It sounded regulation. It was very loud. And Rosie heard it from in the house and was like, what is that? And then she's in a confessional saying, not only does she have a siren, but she's offending me. And then my neighbors, there's a no siren clause. I believe it. This is one of those neighborhoods. It's a really nice neighborhood. So I don't know why Kelsey is trying to look down on this woman's house. So the dog is in the bed, and Kelsey comes in with the siren. This is the house police. I have eyes on the property. It says the suspect is saying 8,000 square feet, and it's more like 8,000 inches. I knew that was a joke, but Rosie didn't know it was a joke. I wish she had laughed it off, but I don't know. Maybe it's too soon. So this is unit 1. I got eyes on the property. Now Rosie's smiling a little bit, but not really. So Rosie is kind of upset about that loud siren. Kelsey gets out of the car with her bag. She looks cute, but Rosie she's no longer smiling. She's kind of upset. She's in a confessional. She's complaining about the neighbors are not going to love this. And she said, come in, I'll show you everything. So I love the way this house is planned. When you come into the lower level, there's like a living level down there, but then there's steps, and there's a second kind of living level as well, with the table. The dog bed was under there. The dog went and laid down. The dog knew Kelsey was trouble, and this dog is kind of soft. She be putting them in dresses and stuff. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Linda. 9 likes, 11 in the chat. Thank you all so much for that. It upset the dog too. It did. An American Born's a dog lover. You could tell. Yeah, the dog went back. He's not used to all that. He's used to Rich and Rosie and his calm environment. The siren in that neighborhood, which is a no siren neighborhood, and if a siren does come, it's probably real police or real fire. So that was really, that wasn't good. It wasn't a good joke. It wasn't funny. And then she thought it was funny. Cece says it's a split level house. Yes, Cece, thank you for explaining it. I was telling the long way around because I couldn't remember what it was. Again, send me some gummies. It's a split level home. So I love how it's laid out. Even though she can't wait to finish building and then decorating it, it's beautiful. Everybody, the whole cast, they all have a nice home. CDW said Rosie's dog was scared and did not defend her. Instead, it walked away and lay down on the bed. I noticed that too. And you could tell that Kelsey was there for some shenanigans. She came in with the siren, and then Rosie was like, okay, this is loud. It's not funny. And she's like, it's funny. It's funny. So it wasn't funny. So she brings her up there, and it kind of escalated a little bit quickly. And she says, okay, we'll do these. You can take measurements. And Rosie said, and now what's the issue with the square footage? Because you keep mentioning it. And then Kelsey was like, relax, relax. I came in, I'm joking. And Rosie said, I didn't think it was funny. But Kelsey kept saying, but it's a joke. It's a joke. Kelsey, you've been talking behind this girl's back about it, and now she's overly sensitive to it, and you can't tell her that it's a joke. So Rosie, production, how much did you cut out? Rosie said, you attacked my house. You attacked my character. Kelsey's saying, I've never attacked you. I've never attacked your 8,000 square foot home. It's a joke. It's a joke. I think it was a joke. She got her arms folded. Rosie didn't find it funny, and I feel like Kelsey should have immediately apologized. But again, this is Kelsey. Kelsey's got her hands on her hips now. And Rosie is inside her own home. She has already been kind of batterying her back by Rich, who was like, try to get along, try to apologize, but if they come for you again, you're going to have to let them know what it is. So Rosie's got all that in her mind, and she's already upset about the ongoing. So I was being lighthearted. Now she's chewing gum. Okay, now, this is a little bit aggressive. This is like on Grease with the pink ladies when they start chewing their gum. You know that something else is going on. Cece said, any dog that I have will be trained to protect me off rip. Yes, the dog like went upstairs and got in the bed. I'm like, you know that something's going on. The lady pulled up with a siren, and Kelsey came in a little aggressive when she kept insisting it was a joke, and Rosie's letting her know it's not funny. American Born says, my dogs protect me, Cece. Yeah, that's what a dog is for. I mean, you can have a pet, but there also should be some level of protection. But again, Rosie, you putting them in little pink tutus. I don't know what kind of warrior spirit the dog's going to have. Cece said, you have great dogs. Mama Bees, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us during the live. I appreciate you coming in and speaking to myself, the chat, and the other mod who is in here, Cece. Yes, they are. We are talking about Kelsey is pulled up with a loud siren. She's coming over here to do Rosie's hair. So she has her big bag, the kit with her. She's come in. Rosie's upset because the siren was like a regulation level sound. And it's a no siren neighborhood unless you're actually professional. And then Kelsey is not willing to say, I shouldn't have done that. We're not there yet. I'm sorry. Here to do your hair. So now Rosie is already on one. I thought it was funny. So she's chewing gum. And neither one of them are neither one is ready to apologize. Rosie says, you have attacked my character. You've attacked my home. You're trying to make fun of me. You're driving up talking about 8,000 square feet. Now, Rosie, I don't know if this house is 8,000 square feet or not, but none of them should say anything else about the square footage of this home, particularly you, Kelsey. And they had the after show last night. Joellen insisted it was funny. Liz insisted it was hilarious. Alicia said she didn't find it funny. It wasn't funny. You know, Alicia's supposed to be the dumbbell, maybe, or the slow poke. I don't think that about her. I think she just loses her words and stuff. She's the most emotionally intelligent. She knows this is not right. She knows that once Rosie didn't think it was funny, it's not funny. But Kelsey is insisting. American Born says, I was surprised that production stepped in and it was probably a good idea. Yes, even though she was almost out the door, she got a little shoulder check in and Rosie got an actual push in and then slammed the door on her. What I didn't like was Kelsey pulled an Ashley and came back in the house. And Candace said, I offered her a beverage and was waving her knife. Once someone has asked you to leave their property and you've left, once you re-enter, you are trespassing. So yeah, that was kind of a lot. Now, Rosie started the cursing and stuff first. Rosie's dropping F-bombs. I'm on the deed of this effing house. Where are you? You coming in here to my effing house with an effing siren? Kelsey says, you being aggressive. It was funny. She is being aggressive. Rosie's pointing out, it's not funny after everything you've done to me. What I done to you, B? Are you effing kidding me right now? Calm down. I'm sorry I called you a polygamist. That's Rosie. She said, I'm sorry I called you a polygamist. Now, in Rosie's defense, when she called her a polygamist, she was not there. The other lady, that doesn't make it right. But Kelsey didn't know that. All the other ladies, Joellen, brought that back to her. And that kind of started more of the stuff that was going on. Then I'll tell you a little bit more of what Rosie was saying. Kelsey says about her too. Rosie is over it. She says, I'm effing tired of it. It wasn't nice. I wish Rich was there. Rich kind of would have, even though I feel like he put a little bit of a battery in her back, he did tell her, try to make it up with her. If she keeps on you, then you're going to have to back her up. But he didn't mean start throwing F-bombs and pointing in the lady's face because Rosie was on one. She was in her own home and you should feel comfortable in your own home and no one should disrespect you in your own home. Kelsey drove up with the disrespect. Yeah, Kelsey should have just left. She should have. She's trying to argue her way out the door. Y'all, that was so funny. I'll get to it. And then we'll talk about the whole scene. I wanted them to throw hands. Cece, they almost went there. And I wouldn't have minded because Atlanta supposed to be the ones we supposed to be throwing stuff. And P. Willie, everybody waiting for peach juice. But, I mean, I saw peach juice over here. We got to think up a name for Kelsey and Rosie because they were ready to throw down. And there were steps involved on that split level. They weren't down the stairs yet. Hey, my sis Linda Gamble, Mama Bees is speaking to everyone. Hope you are feeling better. She's been up all night modding. So I am glad she made it in. And I do hope she's feeling better as well. American Born says, I think they would have if production hadn't stepped in. Yeah, by the time it got down the stairs, it was very heated. And I saw a shove. I saw a shoulder check. And of course, the language, which some people do just speak in F-bombs. Rosie doesn't usually, and neither does Kelsey. So that ratcheted up the aggression a little bit. Cece says, I think Rosie went there because she was in her home. If they were elsewhere with the ladies around, Rosie would have punked out like she did in Newport. And then Cece, in her defense, she's at her own home and it was one-on-one, her and Kelsey. When they were in Newport and Kelsey was poking Rosie, Rosie could tell that the other ladies were going to jump in on her behalf. Joellen always does. Liz always does. Ashley's the only one to kind of have her back. And then Alicia tries to remain objective or have her back. But the ladies that get in it the most do come in on Kelsey's side, which I don't like, and I don't think it's fair. A little bit better. How you doing, sis? And we have crosstalk in the chat. Thank you, everybody. And let's continue. You said so effing much this summer, so much. Kelsey, get the F out. Stop talking. Get your effing suitcase. But Rosie picks up this lady's kit. Now, Rosie, this stuff is expensive. And she's unemployed except for this show. She's starting a new job. Who you think you're talking to? Kelsey's now got her finger going to match Rosie's finger. Rosie has picked up the case, gotten in front of Kelsey, and Kelsey has got her arm to push Rosie off her. She said, don't effing touch me again. And Rosie said, I don't give a F. Don't talk to me like this in my own house. Don't talk to me like this in my own house. Now, Rosie has her case. She says, when you have your own house, you can talk to me. When you have a husband, you can talk to me. When you have a career, you can talk to me. Rosie, this is built up, but I'll allow it. Y'all, I was here for that. Kelsey was shocked. She was trying to get a word in and she couldn't. And Rosie has her case. She's in front of her on the steps. Somewhere along the way, she's trying to bang this big thing down. She says, you don't have any of that. Sucking D's is not an effing career. The dog looked up. He stood up. His instinct kind of came in like, what am I going to do? The dog was literally like, and then he like just turned around and sat back down on the bed. Y'all get out of there with this. This is too much. That poor sweet dog, he was having a fit. And Kelsey got upset. B, shut the F up. Rosie, you need to stop this. They're telling each other, shut the F up. And then Rosie says, y'all, I didn't know this. Your whole effing life is a pageant. You didn't even effing win. She said, with your effing sugar daddy. And I thought she was Miss Rhode Island. Rosie, what is going on with this? She says, we're not cool. We're not friends. Get the F out my house. I'll help you. She must have threw the girl's bag down the stairs because she had Rosie's bag. Kelsey's like, don't touch my stuff. She was trying to take it. Rosie must have threw it down the stairs. Rosie said, you're not welcome here. I feel like Rosie went too far. She says, you or your effing clique. Who's the clique? Is it the rest of the ladies? Now, Rosie, don't go too far. They're going to watch this. So she says, you're not welcome here. You, your effing clique, you're not welcome. Get out of my house. Kelsey said, gladly. And she said, don't effing touch me. They're at the door kind of tussling, y'all. And Rosie kind of got a little push with the door and she pushed. Production said, stop it. Production had to break fourth wall, y'all. That man said, stop it. Rosie already hit Kelsey with the door. Rosie, you hit Kelsey with the door. Kelsey said, don't effing touch me. And the producer told them to stop. Rosie hit her with the door. That was a heavy bag. Y'all, Rosie must have threw that bag out the door. It was like all the way out on the grass. Here comes Kelsey back around. I can't tell, the garage, another open area. This hit Kelsey where she lived. By the way, I won that pageant, fair and square. Girl, that's the least of your worries. She said sucking D is not a career. She said you don't have a house, a husband, a career, even though both of y'all are working on this show. You talking about this pageant? Now, we did notice when she moved into her new apartment and the mom and sis came in, the first thing she was putting up was those Miss Rhode Island plaques. So she kind of got you there, Rosie. I don't know. I would say it was equal, but Rosie was on home turf. Kelsey couldn't get a word in edgewise and all that stuff she was saying before. I can't count any of that. So I have to give Rosie the clear win. And the production had to come in, kind of help Kelsey. I think he was coming in on Kelsey's behalf. So y'all, this was kind of funny. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. Kelsey said, don't touch me. I won that pageant fair and square. Now we need to look into the pageant. What year was this? And your ex-boyfriend, him being influential in Providence, did he have something to do with it? This is too much. So Kelsey is saying, everybody in Rhode Island know you will F at any married man. She says, you are effing slam pig. Don't ever effing come for me in my own house. You are effing slam pig. Don't ever come for me in my own house. Y'all, I have to read the definition of slam pig. She said, get the F out my house. Because remember, Kelsey came back in. Production, you don't let the lady back in. Walk her to her car, bring that big bag to her with her career in it, and get out of Rosie's house. Rosie has asked her no less than 10 times to get out of her house, physically touched her. Now she's called the lady a slam pig twice. This is crazy. She just yells at her, get out of the house. Kelsey is asked to leave for the 10th time. She says, you're an effing liar. Get out of my house. So, y'all, that was it. American Born is laughing. This was, it was exhilarating. She's laughing at Cece. Cece wanted them to throw hands. I wouldn't have minded. I really wouldn't have minded. Let me see. Oh, Cece, yeah, this is true. We have to give it up to the ex-workers. She's actually, sucking is a career. It is. And you know what? They could probably put something online. Why don't you do a tutorial, Kelsey? She got 10 years, well, from the ages of 20 to 30. That's that's a cheat code. If you're that young, you don't have to be that skilled. But she got a good 10 years, and then the man's still paying rent, healthcare, and car insurance. The jobs won't even do that. American Born is laughing at Cece. I see Cece's point. I really do. Kelsey? Yeah, Rosie won. American Born gives it up to Rosie won. American Born gives it up to Rosie. Rosie won. A slam pig. Now, Alicia is on the after show saying, she got that from me and ran with it. I used to say, Sally is a slam pig whore. So I don't know who Sally was, but this is what Alicia used to say. They said it's a very vulgar New England, Rhode Island, Boston term. It's the low of the low is a slam pig. And after Kelsey had been kicked out, she had to come back in to dispute that. The other ladies were very offended at that as well. Joellen said, what is a slam pig? Ashley's on the Watch What Happens. I'm not Watch What Happens, but after show. I don't want to say really. She pulls the phone out from behind her back and reads the definition. Yeah, I'm going to read the definition too. And Miss Jackson, yes, Miss Jackson was the first one in. She says, slam piggy. Yes, slam pig. I hope that doesn't start ringing bells, Kelsey. I hope people don't start calling you that. What is a slam pig? That's right, Cece. I'm going to read it. Ashley read the definition. I'm going to read it, but it's really vulgar and terrible. They read the definition on the after show, and it was funny. Yes, Liz and Joellen were very offended by that. And the producer even wanted to know, do you fit any of the definition of a slam pig? Kelsey says, well, the only part of the definition I fit is that I'm a woman. I'm like, what? Girl, I thought that was crazy. Let me go off camera for a little bit. I'm going to try to pull up the definition. Y'all, this was a mess. I couldn't believe it. A slam pig. And y'all, that was the end of the episode. But with this opened some kind of portal, y'all. I don't think these two will ever be friends again. Hands were laid on each other. Hands were laid. And production had to step in, break the fourth wall. Now, I wonder if they'll start being called all kind of names and all this kind of stuff. Somehow, I don't think so. But I'm with Cece. I really wouldn't have minded if they had even laid hands. I really wouldn't have. Y'all, that was too much. A slam pig. So I'm pulling up the definition now. Let me see. And again, they went over it on the after show. I don't have time to pull up the after show. And then I've become kind of tentative about sharing that stuff. Okay, let me see. All right, one moment. Okay, here it is. I'm going to copy it and then read it. And I'm going to look it up again and see if there's another definition. No, it looks like the same thing. It looks like the same thing. Okay, everybody, let me see. I'll put it right here. All right, I wonder if I can share this. It's long. All right, it says, slam pig. It's a vulgar. Slam pig is a vulgar, derogatory slang term. It's primarily used as an insult to describe a woman who is considered promiscuous, or it is used as an insulting term for a woman someone finds physically unattractive, with whom they would only have a casual or non-committal sexual encounter. American Born is laughing. So y'all, Rosie, she said she don't know where she got that from, but She has heard the term and she wanted to be as offensive as possible since she felt that Kelsey had violated her home. Kelsey pulling up with sirens and still hammering in on the 8,000 square foot, knowing that Rosie was already upset. I understand why Rosie went where she went. I agree with Cece. Rosie being at home kind of put more of stiffened her spine a little bit, and then her husband Rich putting a little bit of a battery in her back, like, look, you gotta let them know they're doing too much. Make up, but if you can't make up, you're doing too much. Kelsey's coming off as special in the head. Yeah, and then to re-enter the house, and she couldn't. It was more like a Pinky Angela where, like, you throw one insult out, you started it, and then the other person's able to throw out two. Slam Pig took the day. Just on a point level, I give Kelsey about a 2 for being able to, coming back into a person's home, that's bold. In some states, it's not even smart. But that's Rhode Island. I don't think anybody's strapped. I hope not. Slam Pig, a vulgar, derogatory slang term primarily used as an insult to describe a woman who is considered promiscuous or used as insulting term for a woman someone finds physically unattractive with whom they would only have a casual, non-committal sexual encounter, maybe one night stands. So the production wanted to ask during the after show, they said, do you fit any of those? She said, well, I'm a woman and I'll take up for Kelsey. She's not unattractive. She's beautiful. Rosie is too. And non-committal relationship, that kind of digs at what she went through over the last 10 years. She had longevity. She got a good decade in, but this man was not committed. We know that he had other women, plural, and I don't know. It wasn't casual, and he's paying bills, but again, he's not hurting to pay bills. He has money. He's from money. So y'all, that's where it ended. That is where the episode ended. Y'all, this was a mess. A slam pig. So that is a new something introduced to the lexicon. I've never heard that on Bravo or anywhere else. Thank you, Rosie. We got to tip our hat to Rosie. We got to get Kelsey. You're going to spend the rest of your life trying to make up for this. Just say she got me. You don't fit that. You're a woman. You're nothing else in that definition. Don't try to come up with something else. Rosie got you. Rosie got you. And Rosie lift that heavy bag up. I don't know if she threw it down the steps. Y'all, I'm going to have to watch that scene again. And Kelsey, you didn't come over there to do hair. You pulled up with a siren, and Rosie's supposed to lay there and take it in her own home. So everybody is laughing. Slam Pig equals a late night hookup queen. Yeah, sound like the men got to be wearing beer goggles to get with a slam pig. Y'all, that is too much. Poor Kelsey. And then Kelsey goes out and she's dialing on the phone. She's already going to tell Bill what happened. And poor Billy was like, yeah, he says, well, this is a start. You're going over there to do her hair. Two of you can do it. You're getting along. I don't know why the men feel like they could get along. Now, Rich is my kind of guy. We got to watch Rich, because now Rich has told his wife, okay, I think you can do it. But again, if she starts with you, you got to finish it because they'll keep doing it. Rich also, one time they were all in a circle talking about Brian. They re-showed that scene during the dinner. Rich ended up saying, I don't know about the mistress. She got poor mistress etiquette. So Rich, mistress etiquette. You shouldn't have any type of etiquette at all for a mistress. Don't have a mistress. You don't have to worry about how she acts. But Brian's is out of pocket. And she's entwined in too many areas of their life. So y'all, that was the end of the episode. And it was another great one. 10 out of 10. Rosie got a 10 and the episode got a 10. Kelsey, just lick your wounds, but leave this lady alone. Off topic. Have we sewn one lobster from this Rhode Island crew? I'm sick of the pizza bread or whatever it's called. Yeah, we haven't seen any lobster. I think the best dinner we have seen, and then even at the Newport Mansion, all they were having the charcuterie boards looked great, but it's Rhode Island. I want some seafood. I think the best dinner right now was Rula and Brian with the filet mignon and whatever type pasta they had. Yeah, American Born gives the episode a 10. So those of y'all that joined me during the live, thank you so much for joining me during the live. This was great. I have an extra because American Born shared some things. I found some other things. And then I'm going to show a little bit, well, not of the after show, but we'll talk a little bit more about the after show. There were quite a few things. Let me see if I can pull it up now. that Rosie also had a bee in her bonnet about. She's really upset about. She said that Kelsey has been spreading rumors all summer about her to that crew. And we know Rosie was already feeling a little anxious about being a part of that crew. So Kelsey, you got everything that you wanted to get from Rosie and then some. So one of the rumors that Rosie's cheating with married men, I think that's why Rosie threw out, everybody in Rhode Island knows you will cheat with a married man. So that's another reason why that rich man was not committed to her. She's out here doing her own thing as well. And then something about the job. I can't see what else it is. We'll put that in an extra. But she was saying, you said my husband was gay. Y'all, that explains the battery that Rich put in her back. Rich, I see you. Oh, and if Joellen keeps starting, I think Rich and Gary can go toe to toe. Gary, put your glitter jacket on because you might have to get into it with Rich. Because all of y'all been picking at Rosie. And Rosie says she's taken all she can take and she's not going to take any more. Slam pig. Rosie is a journalist. Rosie's very literate. Rosie's probably a reader, and those type of people can read you down. She didn't throw the F-bombs until she started really getting mad thinking about that siren, but she didn't even need any of that. Cece gives it an 8.5, and Cece is a pretty tough grader. She's like the strict substitute. So American Born and I have given it a 10. Cece's giving it an 8.5. Yeah, we're going to have to keep our eyes on Rich. Cece, did you notice that? Rich can be messy. Y'all, he was so cute behind the bar, too. He was really funny. That lady come, and the lady was kind of desperate. Rich, this question is for Rich. The bartender don't take questions. Lady, what? What are you talking about? Do you have any brothers, or is your father single? And he said, well, my brother's kind of a playboy. And Rosie's like, well, he's a baby. How young is he? Oh, he's 30. So he's 30. They say give him 5 years. Oh, good. An extra show. I love those. Thank you, American Born. I have to squeeze in these Atlanta ladies because they're down there trying to drive my poor Cynthia crazy. They're trying to pull out 50 Cent, but 50 Cent didn't show up. K. Michelle, somebody, I don't know who we're going to call, Puddin'. Puddin' was there, and she's crazy. American Born says, those guys don't want their side pieces to come out, so they better be quiet. I think Brian's got the worst one, and I think the other men are kind of relieved about that. So those of you that joined me, it was a great episode. Thank you so much for joining me at Sandra P's Gen Extra, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll get the Atlanta one together and arrange a time. And y'all, I'm going to see you in the YouTube streets. If we get to party in the chat tonight, you know where to be. I'll probably be there as well.